Hi, this is Lit with Richie. I'm your host, Richie, and this is my Intro to Lit video. This is a channel where I am going to be talking a little bit about the literacy crisis, what it means for you and me, and teaching you some skills that you can hopefully use to improve your literacy and the literacy of the people around you. Before I get into that, we do have to talk about a couple of things, including the definition of literacy. The definition of literacy is kind of hard to pinpoint just because as society and the technologies that we use change, so does the definition of literacy. Broadly speaking, literacy is the ability to read, write, speak, and listen in a way that fosters effective communication. Also included in this is understanding, interpretation, and identification of themes, narratives, appeals, subtext, and what those things might mean for the author, the audience, and the world surrounding those things. There are a few different kinds of literacy, including disciplinary literacy, which is what you would apply to academic or specialized education. This is what you would use in school, in higher education, and in things like trades. They will also have their own disciplinary literacy. There is media literacy, which is the understanding of things like games, books, television, advertising, short-form and long-form videos, and any content that you are consuming. Finally, there is digital literacy. Digital literacy is how you use technology and the internet to communicate, research, create, and access the tools necessary to do those things. Why do I care? Why do you care? I care because I am extremely passionate about education, specifically language and communication. Its academic siblings and cousins have always been of particular interest to me. I work with kids, and my long-term goal is to teach high school someday. Part of that is wanting to teach the next generation and other people around me to navigate their surroundings more effectively. Literacy is a part of how we do that. You might care because maybe it's felt harder to have a conversation with people recently. You might care because you have kids, or you know kids, and are worried about how the literacy crisis is going to impact them, their peers, and you. You might care because you hate technology, and you hope you've stumbled upon a place where somebody's going to validate those feelings. And to some extent, I probably am. You might care because the education system failed you or somebody you love, and you are worried about you or them being behind. There is no shame or wrong reason, whatever it is that you're here. I'm here to teach, I'm here to learn, I'm here to help out in whatever ways I can. Did you say literacy crisis? Yes, I did. I'm in the United States, where literacy rates for 2024 and 2025 did not look particularly good. 21% of adults are functionally completely illiterate, meaning that they cannot read or write in any real sort of way. 54% of the adults in the United States read, write, and communicate at a level lower than a 6th grader. What this means is they are not at the stage of interpreting texts and pieces where they can identify more subtextual meanings without prompting, where they can question what the writing means for the author and their viewpoints, and how that changes depending on what the writing or writing style or context of the writing is. They are not at a place where they are capable of forming their own opinions about it, or where they are capable of questioning their assumptions or others' assumptions about a piece. What this means is that assuming that most of the people you interact with are from the United States of America, as most of the people I interact with are, the people you are talking to may have a hard time comprehending sarcasm that isn't blatantly obvious. They may have a hard time with movies or shows that don't have a direct and self-explanatory plot. They may not genuinely understand what types of media they are engaging with. Your family members, your coworkers, the people in your communities, possibly you, definitely me, to some extent, are struggling to communicate with the people in their social circles. This makes it harder for people to get and keep jobs. This makes it harder for them to do their jobs effectively. The literacy crisis impacts our communities, our children, our adults, our low-income and our high-income neighbors. Most importantly to me, it impacts the fact that it is easier for the people in charge to stay in charge if you and I are illiterate. If you are incapable of interpreting and forming opinions about what you are seeing, reading, and hearing around you, you are much more easily manipulated, and you are much more likely to be told what to think, because you cannot and have not developed the skills to think for yourself. Who am I? Who am I to talk about this? I'm Richie. I'm 24. I'm autistic, and the science and art of communication has always been of particular interest to me. I started working with kids a couple of years after COVID started to decline a little bit, and seeing the amount of 4 and 5-year-old children who could not identify letters, much less read and write their own name, was extremely worrying to me, thinking about how hard it was going to be for those kids to navigate the world around them in the future. I'm extremely passionate about learning and teaching. Again, my long-term goal is to be a high school teacher someday, and though I have no formal teaching education, aside from a couple of extra English classes in high school that I did pretty well on, I know how to translate and parse out the jargon and translate it into something that is more relevant to people like you and I who don't work in academia and who are not used to looking face into the statistics. So, what should you expect? In the interest of accessibility, I am hoping to keep videos short, between 10 and 20 minutes. I will take a concept or a few adjacent concepts and break them down, explain how to practice the skills related to them, and talk a little bit about some more relevant things to whatever the concepts for the video are. Hopefully I will be uploading weekly, probably Sundays or Mondays. This is a passion project for me. I have no editor. I'm doing all the researching and everything by myself. So Sundays or Mondays. And if there is anything that is confusing, hard to read physically, needs to be phrased differently, or if there's anything that you want me to talk about in particular, I will have an email in the description that you can email me at, and I will look into it. Also, in the interest of accessibility and transparency, I will leave a link to my transcripts and the presentations that I use in the description, so you can look through those, including my sources and the questions that I use to do research for the videos. I do this for free. I'm here for fun. I'm here for practice, for a career someday. But if anybody is so inclined, I will leave a Ko-Fi in the description. Thank you for checking in, and I will see you next week with our first official class.